A crowded office filled with laughter, shiny decorations, and the smell of expensive cake. In the middle of it all, a man in a worn gray uniform stands awkwardly, holding a small paper-wrapped box. Everyone's eyes are on him. Someone snickers, another voice mocks. "Come on, Peter, did you really think we'd invite you to the CEO's birthday party?" Peter's smile fades, his hands tremble slightly, but what no one knew was that within that same week, the man they mocked would own something that would change all of their lives forever. Cut to black, cue title text. Janitor laughed at during birthday celebration. His unexpected inheritance silenced everyone and melted even the CEO's heart. Peter Dawson, 57, had been a janitor at Mariton Industries for nearly 25 years, his gray hair always neatly combed, his uniform always pressed. Even when life gave him nothing fancy to wear. He was quiet, gentle, and carried a kindness that people often mistook for weakness. Every morning, Peter arrived before dawn. He'd hum old tunes while mopping the marble floors, songs his late wife used to love. He'd stop by the coffee room, replace the paper cups, and sometimes leave small notes like, "Have a great day, Peter." No one ever said thank you, most didn't even notice. Among them was Evan Harper, 38, the CEO, tall, confident, always in a tailored suit. He believed success was earned only by the strong, and people like Peter were just background noise in his empire. To him, Peter was the help. Nothing more. The company was planning a big event, Evan's birthday celebration. Everyone chipped in for the luxurious venue, designer cake, and $1,000 decorations. Peter, though not invited officially, overheard the planning. He smiled softly and said, "Maybe I'll just drop by to wish him well. He's the boss after all." He saved up part of his weekly wage, skipping lunch for days, to buy a small gift, a vintage fountain pen, the kind his late wife once gave him when he got his janitorial job years ago. The day of the party arrived. Laughter, champagne, and music filled the hall. Peter entered quietly, holding his little wrapped box. Some staff turned to look. Puzzled, whispers followed him like shadows. "What's he doing here? He's the janitor. Is he lost? Oh my God, is that wrapping paper from the dollar store?" Evan's assistant, a sleek woman named Clara, chuckled and said loud enough for everyone to hear, "Ah, that's cute. He brought a gift. Maybe it's a mop." The crowd burst into laughter. Peter's cheeks flushed, but he stood there, smiling politely, clutching his small box as if it were the most precious thing in the world. Evan approached, sipping champagne, trying not to laugh. "Peter, what brings you here, old friend?" "Just wanted to wish you happy birthday, sir," Peter said softly. "You've given me a good job all these years. I just wanted to say thank you." Evan nodded, amused. "That's kind of you. And what's this?" Peter extended the box. "Just a small token. Something from the heart." Clara smirked. "Should we open it now, boss? Maybe we all need a laugh." Evan grinned, tearing the paper open, revealing the simple fountain pen inside. The room went silent for half a second, then erupted with mocking laughter. "A pen? For a CEO? Does it even work? Maybe he found it in the trash." Peter's hands trembled. He lowered his head and said quietly, "It belonged to someone special. I thought it might remind you that even great things start small." But his voice was drowned by laughter. Evan set the pen aside carelessly, like it was nothing. "Thanks, Peter. Really? You're something else." He turned away. Peter stood there a moment longer, then quietly walked out, the sound of laughter echoing behind him. 2 days later, Peter didn't show up for work, not the next day either. People barely noticed, except for one intern named Lily, who often shared her lunch with him. She went to HR, but they shrugged, probably retired. You know, old folks. But on the third day, a black luxury car arrived outside the company. Out stepped a lawyer in a crisp suit, holding a leather briefcase. He asked for the CEO. Inside the glass office, Evan looked puzzled. "Can I help you?" "Mr. Harper, my name is Charles Reed. I represent the late Peter Dawson." Evan froze. "The late Peter Dawson?" The lawyer nodded solemnly. "I'm afraid he passed away 2 days ago, peacefully in his sleep." Evan's expression softened for a moment, then turned confused again. "Why, are you here?" The lawyer opened the briefcase and slid a folder across the desk. Peter Dawson was the sole heir to Dawson Manufacturing, a company recently acquired by your corporation. Evan blinked. That old failing plant in Ohio? Yes. What you didn't know, the lawyer continued, is that Peter was the original owner's son. He chose to live humbly after his father's passing, donating most of his inheritance quietly over the years. The air in the room grew heavy. Before his passing, the lawyer added, he transferred the remaining controlling shares, 37% of Mariton Industries, to the person he described as the one who needs to remember the value of humility. Evan's voice cracked. What does that mean? The lawyer handed him a letter. The envelope had Peter's handwriting. Evan slowly opened it. Dear Mr. Harper, you once said success belongs to the strong. Maybe it does. But strength is nothing without kindness. That I've spent most of my life cleaning floors, not because I had to, but because I wanted to understand what real work feels like, what your employees go through every day. That I saw the laughter that night. I don't blame you. We all forget, sometimes, that hearts matter more than titles. That I hope you'll use what I left behind not just to grow your company, but to grow your heart. That Peter Dawson. Evan's hands trembled, his throat tightened as he looked at the pen still sitting on his desk, the same pen he had mocked. That he opened it and noticed something engraved on the inside. For those who remember where they started. A silence filled the room. For the first time, the CEO, who thought he had everything, felt small. Weeks later, Evan stood on the same office floor where Peter once mopped. The company now held an annual event, the Peter Dawson Day. Instead of celebrating profits, they honored employees who showed compassion, honesty, and humility. Evan gave a short speech, holding up the pen. This belonged to a man who reminded me that greatness isn't built by power, it's built by heart, and sometimes, the quietest people teach us the loudest lessons. In the crowd, some of those who once laughed wiped tears from their eyes. Clara, the assistant, placed a small flower on the janitor's locker, still preserved with his name tag. As the camera pans out, Evan writes with Peter's pen across a new company plaque, in memory of Peter Dawson, the man who cleaned our floors, and cleansed our hearts. Soft piano music fades in. Narrator, if this story touched your heart, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe for more stories of kindness. And if you've ever experienced a moment like this, share it in the comments. Your words might inspire someone else. The grand corporate hall that once echoed with laughter is silent now. The same marble floor where the staff mocked Peter's old shoes now reflects flickering candlelight. A portrait of Peter, framed in gold, rests on an easel near the stage, smiling, mop in hand, wearing the same blue janitor's uniform. Evan Harper stands at the back, still in his black suit. His hands tremble as he looks at the picture. The memory of that night, the laughter, the sneers, the way he ignored Peter, burns inside him like acid. A gentle voice breaks the silence. Mr. Harper, are you okay? It's Lily, Peter's niece, the same woman who handed him Peter's will 2 days earlier. She holds an envelope sealed with wax. Evan looks up. Is that? She nods. Peter wrote this. It's addressed to you, to be opened a week after the announcement. He takes the envelope as if it's made of glass. His reflection stares back at him from the wax seal, distorted, broken. In his office that night, Evan sits alone. The city lights below look like a sea of guilt. He finally opens the envelope. Inside, a handwritten letter. Neat, steady, humble.